This week's Parashat Masei, speaks about the journeys of the Jewish people throughout the Midbar, and it retells the 42 places, the Membet Masaot, the 42 stops along the way on their journey from Egypt, from Mitzrayim to Eretz Yisrael, to the land of Israel. And it goes step by step along the way. And if you look at the names, most of the names are familiar to us. Some of them are not. The Midrashim fill in some of the gaps along the way, what those places were. But it's a very clear journey. We're leaving Egypt, and we're going step by step, actually going pretty quick towards the land of Israel, until we get to the south of Israel. And over there, that's where the story took place of the spies, that Moshe sped the spies up from the south of Israel all the way up, and they spied from south up north. They checked it out, and we have the whole story of the spies coming back, speaking Lashon Hara, and everything gets lost. We get punished 40 years in the desert, and then all of a sudden the journey takes a total step to the right. We go east, and we go all the way around the land of Israel to now re-enter the land. Now 38 years later, from the Jordan River, from the east of Israel, and we're now going to conquer the land of Israel from the east to the west. Okay, so why do we make that whole long journey around? So simply put, because there was a sin, we had to wander around as part of the punishment that took place. But then along the way, if you look at the journey around about to the east, we go basically northeast. You look at this big swerve around, because we're swerving around the areas of Edom and of Ammon and Moab, and we're entering up to the areas of Sichon, which is the last stories that we had in the parasha. We did all this conquering of the land of Sichon, and that's the land. That's how they're going to enter into the land of Israel. So I saw a cool idea in a Dvar Torah from a rabbi named Rav Granot, where he actually looks closer at the actual journeys that we took. So he said, why do we go around, and why do we go all the way around the land of Edom to enter a little bit more north on the Jordan River in the areas of Sichon? So he says, if you read the story of the journeys back in Parshat Chukat, you're going to have one story. If you read it in Parshat Devarim, a different story. So basically, the story of our journeys on the east of the Jordan takes place in three places. It took place already in Parshat Chukat, when it kind of happened in real time. It takes place in our parasha, where we just tell over the 42 steps along the way, and by us it's just very short. It's basically place to place to place with no real storyline. And then it says it all over again when Moshe recounts it in next week's parasha, in Parashat Devarim, when Moshe retells the whole story of all that took place over the last 40 years in the desert. So let's go back to Parashat Chukat. Parashat Chukat, it says that, okay, we're going up right now. We're going to enter the land of Israel on the east of the Jordan. Let's go up on the south part where it's the land of Edom. But the parasha says there that we sent a message to Edom. Edom, are we allowed to enter your land? So it says Edom to us. This is back in Parashat Chukat. This is Perek Chaf, Pasuk Yudchet. Vayomer elav Edom, lo ta'avor bi. Pen b'herev etzel likratecha. And Edom says, no way, you're not crossing through. If you try to cross through right now, I'm going to come after you with my sword. So then we said, no, we don't want to fight you. We just want to come by. We'll pay for our food and water. Edom says, no way, I'm not going to do this. And Edom steps it up, gets their people all, gets their soldiers all strong, and they don't let us pass through. And we turn and we go a different way. So it seems in the story over here, why don't we go through over here? Because Edom was very strong. And it looks like, tactically, it's not the best way to go. It's not a good war mission. We don't want to go fight right now. Let's go around a little bit more, and we'll find a better way to go through. And then ultimately we're going to go through the area of Sichon, because Sichon's going to come and attack us, and they're going to lose the war terribly, as we saw in the last couple of parashas, and we're going to win, and we're going to conquer all of their land, the land of the Amori, and we're going to enter the land of Israel through the Jordan River on that northern part where we conquered the land. Awesome. So simple story. We have these journeys. First off, a lot of the commentators say that these journeys are the way God told us to go, because we had clouds directing us. But this reason why we had this whole big loop around, passing over and not going through the area of Edom, is because they wanted to fight us in a war, and we decided to go around the other way. Fine. If you fast forward though to next week's parasha, Parashat Devarim, Moshe tells a little bit of a different story. And Moshe over there says, why don't we go through the land of Edom? So in Parashat Devarim, this is a Perek Bet, the very beginning over there. So Hashem tells Moshe, You're going to go towards Edom, and you're going to want to try to go through over there. And they're going to, it says, Vayiru mikem, this is in Pasuk Dalet over there. It says, they're going to fear you. But then Hashem says, V'nishmartem me'od, but be very careful. Al tidgaruvam, ki lo aten lachem ma'atzam, ad midrach kaf ragel, ki Yerusha le'esav natati et har seir. That's Perek Bet Pasuk. Hey, so Hashem over there said, don't provoke them, because I'm not going to give you their land, not even for not step foot in there, because it's an inheritance to Esav. I gave Esav the land of Seir. And then Hashem goes on to say, the next part is, maybe we're going to go through the land of Moab, Hashem, or the land of, and then the land of Ammon, and Hashem says, no, Moab and Ammon, you're not allowed to go there. They're Bnei Lot, and their part of the land as well is part of a promise I gave to Lot, because apparently when Hashem promises Avraham, Hashem makes a promise to give Avraham all this land. So we think of the promise to Avraham as only the land of Israel, but God speaks to Avraham a couple of times, and in one of those there's actually a much bigger promise that goes all the way to Iraq, and it's a much bigger part that deals with a lot of the parts to the east of the Jordan. And God is saying parts of those areas over there, they don't go to you, the Jewish people. They go to they're an inheritance for Esav. They're an inheritance to Moab and to Ammon, the other relatives of Avraham. Part of Abraham's bigger gift goes to the rest of the family members. So the way Moshe tells it over in Dvarim is, you are going to get that land because you're not allowed to. It's not part of your promise. God promised us all the land to the west of the Jordan. That's Eretz Yisrael. That's what we can conquer. That's our promise. That's Eretz Zevach Udvash. That's our place. But the other parts, that's not for us. So it's a very different storyline in Parashat Chukat and Parashat Devarim. So what is it? Is it that we didn't go through that land because we were scared, we had to go around it because we didn't want to go to this war? Or is it because we weren't allowed to? So says Rav Granot, a beautiful idea. He says, really, it's both. In life sometimes, we're walking through life right now, and we have all these challenges, we have all these fears, and we start making choices along the way based on the fears that we have right now, and based on a very myopic look of right now. He says the book of Devarim that we're going to start next week is Moshe retelling over the story, but now it's from the perspective at the end, looking backwards, where he had time to digest everything and look through it and see the bigger picture that took place in life. And when Moshe looks back at the bigger picture, he says, actually, in the bigger picture, based on the way God was speaking to me, and based on what took place now in hindsight, it wasn't that we were so scared; they were actually scared of us. And ultimately, we couldn't go through that land because we weren't allowed to. It was part of a bigger promise. And sometimes when we look back in life and we look at all those decisions that we made, and we look back after we've gone through it, we say, whoa, yeah, I know back then I was scared and I was fearful and I had my own version and my own vision of how it took place. But in the bigger picture, it was of course supposed to happen in that place. I did not go there because I was scared. I wasn't allowed to go there because there was a bigger picture of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And sometimes when we look backwards, we can realize all those steps along the way were meant to happen for a much bigger reason than we thought when we first did it the first way. So I want to give us a beracha that we can maybe learn over here from Moshe Rabbeinu, or next week's parasha Moshe Rabbeinu, that sometimes we have to look back at our lives and realize those decisions that we made that at the time seemed more fearful or scared, or seemed like they were very small cheshbonot, but then we look back at Hashem's bigger picture, we can say now in the future, wow, how much that all made sense, and that's what I really was supposed to do, because that was the best thing to ever happen to me, because it's part of the bigger picture of life. Shabbat Shalom.